Hey, what's going on guys? Ash here, and the wait is finally over. Power Rangers Prime Issue 1 is out now. You can pick it up physically, you can pick it up digitally, and I highly recommend checking out this brand new series. So, if you don't know what Power Rangers Prime is, it's the next big ongoing Power Rangers comic book series released by Boom Studios, being written by Melissa Flores, and artwork done by Michael YG. And this first issue, it goes really freaking hard. Now, it is mostly setting up the lore and the world building around it, but what Melissa is setting up here is really freaking exciting, and I can't wait to see where this series is going to go next within the next couple of months, because she is setting up something very special here. So with that said, let's jump into issue 1 and talk about it. So the issue opens up with this mysterious voice talking, and we find out who this mysterious person is at the end of the issue, and we'll get into that in a bit when we get to the final page of this issue. But they start by opening up by saying this: do we really need heroes? Humanity has tenaciously clung to the idea that good will overcome evil. But if evil can be redefined as order, progress, then what signifies good? In what kind of world would a hero be created? So after that, we then cut to Angel Grove, or should I say New Eltar, buyer beware, and we soon see Lauren Shiva, who is on the run from the Eltarian forces. And we'll talk about Lauren in a bit, because there's a lot to go over with Lauren as this issue goes on. But Lauren's on the run from Eltarian forces, and she's soon cornered by them. And seeing how bad the situation is looking, she decides to morph. But seeing how the Eltarian forces see that she's about to morph, they quickly blast the morpher out of her hand, damaging it. And it's interesting how the Eltarians react, because they say that she's one of them and they're going to need to upgrade their weapons. But even with a broken morpher, Lauren just takes her sword and just starts going ham on these Eltarian forces and try fighting them off as much as she can. But she gets very injured during this fight, and she has to retreat, hiding in a dumpster. And this is where our main protagonist of this story ends up finding her, and this protagonist is Mark, or Markod, and we find out later on in the issue that they're from Aquitar. They're an Aquitian, so that's an interesting note. So while Mark is taking out the trash, Mark is soon discovered by the Eltarian forces, wondering what they're doing out here, and Mark says that they're a refugee, and they state their number, which is 082893. Now, when I first read that during the comic previews, I had no idea what it meant, but then a lot of people in the comment section were quick to correct me by saying that's actually the date that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers first premiered. So I like that little Easter egg. I like that little reference. But Mark quickly covers up Lauren after discovering her and acts like nothing's suspicious, nothing's out of the ordinary. So the Eltarian forces quickly take leave. After that, we then cut to Angel Grove University, and there's a lecture going on about the sort of history of how this world came to be. So these next few pages sort of sowing the seeds on how Eltar came to Earth, and history is a little bit muddled with what's going on, because we're going to kind of learn the backstory of what happened from two different perspectives going on throughout this issue. But one of the things we learn in this page, or one of the pages, is that Aquitar was destroyed many years ago. We don't know how. Mark just says that it was destroyed, which is why Mark is a refugee on Earth. So the next thing we learn from one of the lecturers is that 70 years ago, there was an alien invasion by the Beast Brigade from Gamma 7. So the Beast Brigade came to Earth, and it was like an invasion that Earth had never had before, so they didn't know how to defend itself. So Eltar, being the heroes that they are, they couldn't just stand by, and they ended up saving the Earth. Now, this is where the story gets a little bit muddled as well, because we find out that one of the people shaking the president's hand, or the president of Earth's hand, is Zardos from the Eltarian War. Now, at the end of the Eltarian War, Zord would end up driving the Zeo Crystal through Zardius's heart, and we never knew what happened to him, except that he just disappeared. But it looks like that maybe that Zardos was transported to this brand new universe, and that's why he set up these new Eltarian forces. He was able to start again, and this way he's become a conqueror of these worlds. But because Eltar came to Earth, they helped Earth advance civilization many centuries into the future with all their technology, and that's where they are today. So That's an interesting part of this lore and flashback, but we're going to get back to that later down the line. So that's an interesting thing. Now, one of the other characters we're introduced in this issue is Jun, or June. I think it's pronounced Jun, but Jun is Eltarian as well. So Jun is friends with Mark. They kind of know each other, but we've got these two different perspectives from these different characters. Someone who was born on Earth after the Eltarian forces came, and Mark, who came to Earth, who was a refugee. So Jun and Mark, I do wonder what their dynamic is going to be. I mean, for all the previews and all the solicitations that they were putting out, like, Jun, it did seem like a menacing character, but we're only one issue in, so we don't know what their motivation is going to be moving forward. They could turn heel later down the line. That is yet to be discovered. Now, the next part is the very, very juicy part that I'm pretty sure you've probably seen online with the leaks that got out before the official release of this issue. So on the next page, we then cut to a track field where Jun is wearing this karate gi, and he's soon joined by this female friend, this female companion known as Valentina. And just looking at how she's dressed right now, you can obviously tell she's probably going to be the Yellow Ranger. I mean, she's wearing a freaking headband that's got the MMPR lightning bolt on it. So if that doesn't scream, I'm going to be a Power Ranger, then I don't know what is, but we did find out that Jun's mother is one of the Eltarian admirals, and I'm sure that's going to cause a lot of friction amongst everything going on. But one of the characters we're introduced is this character called Ryan, who's got blonde hair, blue eyes, and knows karate. I wonder if that sounds vaguely familiar to anyone. I wonder if anyone's thinking of another Power Rangers related series right now as I bring that up. Could it possibly be? No, I'm not going to dance around. This is freaking Ryan Steele from VR Troopers. So let's cut to the chase. So the VR Troopers are actually in this brand new Power Rangers universe. Now, I'll probably have to eat my own hat or my own socks about this, because I thought, and I was thinking, and I think I've gone out and said that we'll probably never see like something like Masked Rider or VR Troopers in the Power Rangers comic universe when it comes to suits, because Ryan Parrott did name drop them at one point when they were trying to find out who was going to be the next Green Ranger. But here, this is the suits flat out in this brand new universe. So what Melissa has done, she has basically opened the floodgates for this possible connected universe when it comes to like all the Saban shows from back in the day. If VR Troopers in here, then Masked Rider is no doubt lurking out there. Well, Masked Rider's universe has always been around in the Power Ranger comics, because we did see King Glaxion in the comics as well. We just never saw Dex or Masked Rider, which I always assumed was due to copyright reasons. So when Melissa gets to do an interview, I can't wait to find out what was the thought progress into having the VR Troopers in the Power Rangers comics, because I assumed it was a licensing thing, is why they probably couldn't do it, but this opens the door for so much later down the line. But like I said, we do meet Admiral Janessa, who is Jun's mother, I believe, and it looks like there's some friction between the two of them, and it does seem like that maybe she wants Jun to join the sort of troopers, which is being the VR Troopers. But after the VR Troopers reveal and the Jun family dynamic going on, we then cut back to Lauren, who is in Mark's apartment, and she's soon greeted by Orion. Yes, the same Orion from Super Mega Force, which it's interesting to see him as well, because he's also a refugee who's on this planet as well, but it looks like he's kind of hiding out in a way, because, you know, he kind of lays low, and at the start of the issue it looks like he's not like the kind of guy who goes out the track, check the trash or put the trash out and stuff like that, according to Mark's complaining. But yeah, we do find out that Orion's here, which is an interesting touch, because Orion from Super Mega Force, we're going to see him in a brand new light in the comics, but his planet does get name dropped in this issue, but we don't know what happened to it. So I can assume that it was most likely destroyed. I think it was destroyed, because he did say that he's not a fugitive, he's a refugee, but there's no planet for him to go back to. So I'm wondering if the same events played out like in a Super Mega Force, or where he found the Morpher in the end, or did his planet get invaded much like Mark's planet with Aquitar, and he had to take refuge on Earth where there's a bunch of Eltarian forces in the end. So there's that to sort of go over and speculate with what's Orion's backstory in this comic. So Lauren does explain her backstory in this comic, and it's quite the interesting backstory because we do get the lore of Power Rangers Samurai where she goes over by saying, my ancestors were given a special responsibility, we used morphers to tap into the morphing grid, we would become Power Rangers, and for generations my family would protect the Earth the best they could. So we get all these different time periods of these Samurai Rangers fighting off all these different monsters. One of them is in medieval London, so you get this night setting going on, and then you get colonial United States where they're fighting this giant monster as well, and then we cut to the United States in 1954, and that is when the Beast Brigade came and the Rangers fought them too. But the Beast Brigade was so powerful that Eltar had to arrive, and Eltar saved humanity. And that's when Eltar decided to stay, like the Eltarians decided to stay on Earth. So what Eltar did, they colonized the Earth, and Eltarians didn't like Rangers that much. I wonder why, when you have someone like Zardius leading the charge. That's kind of suspicious, don't you think, with how the history is being told? But Lauren goes on to say by saying, they hunted us down, they took my family, and ever since then I've been running. So this looks like it's been going on for a while because you see a young Lauren on the run. So it looks like for the past couple of years, Lauren has been on the run as Eltarians have been sort of, I guess, rounding up Power Rangers and sort of getting rid of them. So Eltarians are sort of trying to erase Power Rangers from existence, as they're trying to be the dominant force within the galaxy, which was something that Zardius was trying to do with Eltar. So, I want to see what the heck is going on with Zardius because I have so many questions. So while Lauren's telling her story, you've got the Eltarian forces still looking for it, and they're getting closer, and they're sort of making a move around Mark's apartment. Now, Mark is soon interrogated by one of the officers because, Mark was last on the scene when they were looking for her, and although Mark's almost slips up and he nearly gets interrogated fully, I don't know if he would have cracked, but hey, there's that. But you can tell that the Eltarians are quick to sort of judge him because he's a refugee. But then Jun steps in, and Jun's by saying, hey, look, if he says he didn't see anything, but he didn't see anything, leave him alone. So Jun kind of saves his ass there, and he even says, I saved your ass there. So because I saved your ass, refugee, you're going to tell me everything about the Power Ranger you're hiding in your apartment, which earlier I didn't bring this up, but it looks like Jun is sort of probably possibly doing research on Power Rangers because, apparently they're a myth in this brand new universe. That's probably because Eltar is kind of trying to probably cover them up and sort of erase their existence like they were ever a thing, or make them sort of this mythos that existed in their universe, they're the possible bad guys, that's why they're getting hunted down. But suddenly there's an explosion and something comes falling from the moon, and as everything's sort of trying to see what's going on as this asteroid is falling down, you have this space dumpster that conveniently lands in the same dumpster that Lauren was found at the start of the issue. But the dumpster hits the ground and someone slowly crawls out of it with this sort of paint on their fingers, and you see white silver hair, and they say, interesting, a brand new world. After so many years, I'm free, and it is none other than Rita Repulsa. And that's where the issue ends. That's where issue 1 ends. And that is a crazy way to end it on, because if this is the same, no, I don't want to say if this is most definitely the same Rita Repulsa we saw at the end of Darkest Hour. And now they're in this brand new universe. And I have so many questions. I have a million questions, and I'm going to have to wait a month until issue 2. I'm going to have to wait for more solicitations. Melissa did a really good job for this very first issue. This first issue was really fantastic. The artwork was amazing. The storytelling is all this world building and setting up. We've got VR Troopers in this Power Rangers comic universe now, which probably opens the door for a lot of things like Big Bad Beetleborgs, Knights of Tiranobob, so many other things, we could possibly see in this brand new Power Rangers universe. Like, I have so many questions, but that was Power Rangers Prime issue 1. What did you guys think of this issue? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. With that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you guys later. Peace.